UNPAVED, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.
To me, Tom Brady is the GOAT because he's done more with less than any player at that position we've ever had.
A day closer to the Super Bowl, Sean Salisbury. Welcome into Unpaved, YouTube, Rumble. Like and subscribe. My man Adam Sager will be along shortly. I'm at Sean Unfiltered on Twitter. He's at Adam G. Sager. So come on in and check it out. Share with your friends. Love you to like and subscribe. We also love your comments and continue as we evolve. And I've been saying it for a while, but I finally found, I hope, this new studio that's going to be epic. You guys are going to just want to fly into Texas and come just be in studio and hang out. What am I going to have to hire 30 more people just to hang out and cheer and clap? But we're grateful for you on here, and there's a lot to clap about. Is your first football weekend without the type of football you want, but it leads to the Super Bowl and all the hype that's going into it, which will be next week when they're lined up at Radio Row. Great to have you in. A lot to discuss coming to Hall of Fame and coaching hires as we're in that tweener area. Between the Super Bowl. We'll break that down big time next week. Every single nook and cranny you can get to, we will do. Let me explain. I've been saying, I'll never forget when I was at ESPN, we were in Miami doing a Super Bowl, and it was Lawrence Taylor's year to be in the Super Bowl. I can't remember what year. I should have looked, but it hit me this morning when we were having our pre-show meeting. I remember Boomer Esiason and I were on the set on NFL Live. Boomer was doing Monday Night Football and came on ABC, ESPN together, and Boomer's great at his gig and opinionated, and we were all on the set. And we started talking Hall of Fame on the set, and there was this talk that, well, Lawrence Taylor, because of some of the issues he'd had with some off-the-field stuff. And at that point in time, now whether that's changed, I'm not privy to the inside protocol or what you have to do to be a voter, one, but also to the protocol you have to live by, or what the criteria is. We hear it all the time, football, baseball, about to get into the Hall of Fame. And when you're voting for a guy, here's the criteria. Seems like people's personalities are added to the criteria to move the goalposts all the time because personalities, ego, and maybe a guy snubbed somebody for an interview. I like to think that most of the voters do it right, but there is going to be some. We see it in baseball all the time. If they don't like a guy, they don't vote it. They don't vote it. Everybody but what? One guy doesn't give Jeter the vote or what have you. How? Well, you didn't think he was Hall of Fame worthy? Stop it. It's the same thing here. We obviously hit the Bill Belichick stuff hard yesterday. But I was on that set with Boomer, and I can remember we were talking about it, and they're talking about, well, and we all, I think, agreed. I was just adamant about how I felt about this isn't your personality, Mr. Congeniality. Love Lawrence Taylor, changed the position. We've seen a lot of great linebackers, but he literally changed the position. And there was no doubt who wasn't going to vote him in because he had some off-the-field stuff and troubles. And that a lot of people go through. His was more documented. He's a star, and Lawrence looked straight in the face and dealt with it. This guy was a phenomenal player. And anybody that tells, and listen, times that Lawrence didn't practice, but he showed up for the games on Sunday and dominated. But there were some who talked about, aren't going to vote for him because of the personality, the off-the-field stuff. It's not your place to judge. This is an off-the-field citizenship Mr. Congeniality Award. It's just not. And at that point in time, I said, I looked on it and I was adamant and quite frankly, passionate to the point of pissed, is anybody who leaves Lawrence Taylor off this first ballot should be stripped of their voting privileges, man. There's certain situations, we get used to saying stuff. We always use like Mount Rushmore or greatest ever or what a great play on an average play. I try not to use those phrases very much because they are, oh, guy makes a 2-yard run on a sweep play. What a great run. Or a guy tackles a guy in the hole. What a great tackle. No, that's actually his job. And your job as a Hall of Fame voter is to look at the action on the field and what they did and decide if it was Hall of Fame worthy and they dominated their era. And I'm giving you a basic overview. And Lawrence Taylor didn't just dominate. He was the best ever what he did. So there should be no hesitation. You don't get to decide who his counselor is, what his marriage is like, just like those folks with Tiger Woods who decided that he owed them an apology as a fan because they watched him play golf on TV. Fuck you. He didn't owe you an apology. You're not his marriage counselor. You're not his family. Maybe sponsorships and fan. He didn't owe me an apology for squat. And neither did Lawrence Taylor. Okay. How he dealt with the stuff off the field, like a lot of people do, me, you, everybody included, some not as documented as others. My job, if I was voting for the Hall of Fame, isn't to decide whether Lawrence Taylor went to his meetings or not. Lawrence Taylor belonged in, and I was adamant about it. And I said, you should be stripped of your voting privileges. I don't think we talk about that enough. I'm convinced that that people who vote for the Hall of Fame are at sometimes in the Heisman Trophy that didn't get to see a guy play, watched a couple highlights. If you're voting for the Heisman Trophy and you've got that kind of honor or a Hall of Fame, then you got to deep dive it like it's a full-time job because it matters. You can't just watch a guy one time and say, oh, he doesn't deserve the Heisman Trophy. He played on the West Coast. Or he played on the East Coast. I didn't stay up late enough to watch it and just watch a few highlights. You got to be watching it all. That's part and parcel of the responsibility and accountability you have to do it. And if you can't, get the fuck out. Give it up. And we got to start getting to the point with this Bill Belichick thing. Bill Belichick. I know people's kick back to me or fight back or argue back is going to be, well, yeah, the guy cheated. Take away I don't care if you take away 2 seasons if you thought that he cheated. Take him away. Still a Hall of Fame. You know he's getting to the Hall of Fame, but you just decided to punish him because you don't want him to be a first ballot guy. It's like a dig. And that's my point about this. This ain't about the dig. Digging on a guy, well, I'm going to just not vote him out. If you look at the body of work, Bill Belichick should be, if he ain't the first, like I said yesterday, ain't the third. So you voters that decide personality conflicts or don't like Bill because he wasn't accessible to you, or, man, Deflategate was the reason he was successful, or Tom Brady was the reason he's successful, partially, just like Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, they're partly responsible for each other being future Hall of Famers, and anybody, Joe Montana and Bill Walsh mentioned that yesterday too, but it bears hitting you over the sledgehammer with it. So if you're a voter and a personality conflict, or you can look me in the face and describe to me why Bill Belichick isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, I'll listen. And about 10 seconds in, I'll start laughing and telling you you're full of shit. Okay. There are certain things, your opinion as a voter, you get to decide. But when the decision is not made on production and what he did to dominate the era and dominate what he did, then you made the wrong decision. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer. And we absolutely, and the Hall of Fame is going to look into it, well, only 25 years later, 20 years late from that studio show that we did, sitting on a beach in Miami, of having these guys stripped of their privileges. We should do it in the Hall of Fame. We should do it in other Hall of Fames. We should do it for the Heisman Trophy. If you're not taking the role serious, or it's a personality conflict from you and your ego gets in the way, your bylaws need to be taken from you out. You don't deserve the privilege. Let's bring Adam Sager in here. Sags, before I do, though, let me tell you about Augusta Pressure, because I do want to make the point. I do want to hit this harder and harder and harder. It is an honor and a privilege not only to play in the league, it's not a right, and it's also an honor and a privilege to be able to vote for these guys to get in. And if listen, maybe, just maybe, that certain guys after a while have lost their fastball, just like they do on the field. And when it came to Bill Belichick and Bill Polian, who is a Hall of Famer through and through, but at this stage, maybe Bill Polian lost his fastball on what the criteria is to get into the Hall of Fame, not because you're still bitter at him for whatever reason. Polian knows it. I know it. You know it. Bill Polian's not above criticism. Apparently, people are listening to his criticism. If Bill Polian doesn't think Bill Belichick's a first ballot Hall of Famer because of his conflict with Bill or whatever his disdain with him is, maybe we got to look at that grudge and say Bill Polian's one who should be stripped of his voting privileges as well. Maybe, just maybe, because he's a Hall of Famer, he ain't above it. We got to look hard into it, because if it's not a serious thing for you, then make it a serious thing for somebody else. Personality and your ego can't be a part of something because your butt hurt and your ass is chapped because, well, Belichick is the first ballot guy and you had disdain with him at certain times throughout his career, you got a problem. It is time for us to start taking away the same thing we gave to people. What are your qualifications then and now on the field and off it as a voter? Some of these guys lost their fastball, and it's time to take it away from them and give it to somebody who actually understands that Bill Belichick, in any way, shape, form, in any league, at any point in history, is a Hall of Famer first ballot. If not, you're one that didn't decide that, then you either don't know how to, you have zero idea about evaluating what is supposed to be in the Hall of Fame. And I don't know all the names that didn't. It's not personal. The bottom line is you got to check yourself. And if the ego's a problem, time for you to get to stepping. Augusta Precious Metals getting to stepping right in here as a partner with UNPAVED. I'm so grateful not only to have them a partner with me and my life, but also for you guys to share. And as a advertiser and as a partner on this show, they matter. They educate. Listen, I went to the grocery store. I do it all the time. I'm actually one of those guys that actually likes grocery shopping. Boom, boom, boom. I am intentional at the grocery store. But one thing that's that I don't like is the constant price we continue to pay for food, for groceries, for your steak, for whatever your meat, whatever, same groceries, same bills. And it's been happening for years now, month after month, year after year. And they keep going this way. Well, so does the price, gold and its value in silver as well. So keep that in mind as we go through this. Now, how high can this keep going? How high can it keep going? Because it's not stopping, it appears, anytime soon. Can it? Some things have gone down, but groceries continue to frustrate you, right? So what really worries me is your retirement savings for you, me, and anybody else. It's going to affect us all. When you're $40 trillion in debt, it's a problem. And it's not just a problem for the big boys, it's a problem for everybody. It affects everybody. And that's a worrisome. And it's not just the number on paper. It's also is what that money you have in your hand can buy. Money, gold and silver, precious metals, tangible assets. The grocery bill is going to keep coming, guys. You know that, and they're going to keep climbing. And if they do, the same retirement savings doesn't go nearly as far as it used to 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 15 years ago. What are you going to do about that and what you can actually buy? So you can have the same balance here, but be falling behind over here. Got to get that fixed, right? And that's why a lot of people in real retirement savings, guys, with real retirement savings are diversifying part of their portfolio into gold and silver. Gold and silver is only going to keep going up. I don't know. I don't know how I can tell you. If you're trying to sell your house and the value goes up, you say it's a perfect time to sell, right? If you're trying to hold on to your house because it's going down, what do? You hold on to it so you don't lose money. Why would you do that with gold and silver? And precious metals, and Augusta Precious Metals is going to educate you on why you need to do it. Not just to chase returns, but also to protect what you've already earned, to keep it with you instead of have to give it away. Balance. Grocery prices going down? No, going up. So that this balance goes down because other prices are going up. So I looked into this myself because I was late to it. And precious metals at Augusta Precious Metals has been a godsend for me because I'm now educated, went through it, see the guide, got myself educated on what gold and silver and precious metals are about. Because I was always like, is it a racket? Well, that's the ignorance. Until we're educated, we don't know. So for me, no pressure. There is no pressure at Augusta Precious Metals. I looked into them, and now they're a partner for me and for UNPAVED. So those tactics, the tactics to educate you are the proper tactics and to educate you on why you need gold and silver. And right from straight education, precious metals from me right to you. Check it out. Listen, if the precious metals stood out, there is no pressure, as I said, and this stays into your IRA and your 401k, no taxes, no penalties. Isn't that a good thing? Man, I'm telling you everything. They'll educate you more, but I'm just giving you that teaser, that appetizer says, I got to go to Augusta Precious Metals. In this economy, protecting your position is how you stay in the game. Go to Sean Buys Gold, SEAN, SeanBuysGold.com. That's SeanBuysGold.com. Or text Sean to 35052 to get the free gold IRA, the IRA guide for you to educate yourself and get in touch with Augusta Precious Metals. What's the worst you can do when you look at the value of gold and silver? What's the worst that can happen? You doing it and finding out it's not for you? You doing it and finding it's great for you, or you're just not doing it all and wondering. Don't be that person. The biggest regrets in life come from what you didn't do as opposed to what you did. And if you don't do this, you're making a mistake, plain and simple. It's your money, your retirement, your confidence, your peace of mind, and Augusta Precious Metals is there to educate and help. Augusta Precious Metals, SeanBuysGold.com, SeanBuysGold.com, or text Sean to 35052 and get that Gold IRA guide. And they're there to help and answer any question you want. Make that move in 2026. Segs, back to what we're doing here with this Hall of Fame. I have zero issue. We get guys in because they're qualified. And over time, like a player, what happens to a player, Segs, it turns 40 and isn't productive anymore, turns 35, they cut him, right? Thank you. You were great while you played. Hall of Famer's been cut. Hall of Famer's been benched. Hall of Famers have had to move on. Hall of Famers retire. So if you're a voter, you may lose your fastball 2 years into your voting. You may not be as into it as every year. Then you get maybe a little crotchety and a little curmudgeon involved in you, or you got a bone to pick because the guy didn't interview with you, didn't like what he did against your team that you bet. I don't know. There's a lot of different reasons, but that's not what the voting's about, Segs. It's about production and who belongs. I just think this is a bloody embarrassment. Yeah, Hall of Fame voters to be talked out of putting Belichick in because this is all grudge. This has zero to do with production. And like I said, you could take away 3 of his seasons, his Super Bowl winning season, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So this is all personality. This has zero to do with production. And I think it's embarrassing. And I would start going through the protocol of why guys got the vote. Are they still throwing at 100? Or are they throwing at 75 and not throwing strikes? Get them out in any sport. Get them out because time's passed them by as well. And maybe, just maybe, Bill Polian has no fastball anymore. Maybe time to strip these guys of their privileges if they can't do it right.
Yeah, I love that the Pro Football Hall of Fame came out, released that statement saying basically like, if we find out you basically leaked the info that Bill Belichick is not making the Hall of Fame this year, then we are going to review your status as a committee member. And this is because
should be protected like you protect your family. You got to protect these votes. That's exactly
some
right.
of the coolest videos we get each year is, and now I'm going to blank on that guy's name that always knocks on the door and surprises. And then lately, you know, we've had like Sterling Sharp surprising, or Shannon Sharp surprising Sterling Sharp with his gold jacket down in his basement.
Those are the great things.
Yes,
those are awesome.
See all these videos and they're great to watch. But now if we're letting people know, you know, the Baseball Hall of Fame is the same way lately where everybody's putting their votes out, and you can basically, if you want to spend the time and figure out who's getting in, you could figure it out before it's even announced. And that's a problem. We should be finding out in a cool way, which, you know, we do a lot, and we still, you know, the Baseball Hall of Fame does the call. You get the call from the Hall of Fame telling you that you're being inducted in. And those are also very cool videos to see when they come up. So yeah, it's respect for the sport. It's respect for the Hall of Fame. And if you're a committee member leaking this out there, then you shouldn't be a committee member anymore.
And like Segs, I believe most of them protect it. I believe most of them are integrity and character filled. But in everywhere you go, business life, church, it doesn't matter. You'll get a handful that want to do it their way and don't follow what they're supposed to follow. I don't mind you challenging the rules. You just can't break them, especially when it comes to this, and or make it personal or leak information that they're trying to preserve to make it special for the guys who've earned their right into the Hall of Fame. Thanks. I'm also convinced of this too, and I saw this on here. It's good because we're on the same page, Isaiah. I think it's you about the voting. More players voting. Dr. J said the same thing. I think maybe it was Dr. J. But Segs, we have former Heisman Trophy voters also vote, right? You win a Heisman, you get the honor of being able to vote. And I know people say, well, they vote for their friends. Well, what's the difference? Hall of Fame voters that aren't a former player may also vote for a guy they loved who gave him an extra exclusive interview if he's on the bubble because you liked him more in his personality. We see that too. I just don't understand. Okay, for instance, if we're voting for defensive players, let's say the Hall of Fame comes up, and you're talking about edge rushers. Why wouldn't Anthony Munoz be a Hall of Fame voter? Why have you earned the right to vote for the Hall of Fame just like you did the Heisman Trophy? If you're, what do we have? 400 guys somewhere in there. We don't have many more than that. It's either upper 300s or low 400s people that are in the Hall of Fame over all these years. I don't think we're at 500. I'm going to say under 425, Segs. I'm going to say that's how many people are in the Hall of Fame.
You were close to spot on with one of your statements. 382.
Okay, so we're at 382. Now I want you to think about I'm thinking about all my teammates that were really good that didn't make the Hall of Fame. Thinking about the guys I played with and against. Hell, I've been a teammate of 8 Hall of Famers on the 2 or 3 teams I have. I wasn't one of them, but I sure played with a lot of great ones. So I start to roll through these things, and it's baffling to me that we don't have guys that actually did. I'm not saying that a writer or people that don't deserve a vote, unless, of course, you've lost your fastball and you're doing it, taking it personal and have ego involved, and we can strip you just as quickly as we gave it to you. But wouldn't Anthony Munoz, first of all, he's earned it. Wouldn't he take it serious and say this is we hear players all the time, don't make it the hall of kind of good or pretty good or really good. It's the Hall of Fame. This is an exclusive group. So if you're Anthony Munoz, aren't you you know how to watch tape. You know what you're looking for. It's not just statistics driven. What makes a guy who belongs with Warren Moon, Anthony Munoz, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, all the great ones, Bruce Smith, just like Bruce Smith. Don't you think he knows how good those guys are that block? They know how to study tape. Do half the guys didn't even know how to study tape? What made Junior Seau special other than the statistics? What kind of team? All those things that go into voting. Why doesn't Terrell Owens deserve a vote? Why isn't Manning voting? So to me, you've earned the right, and we only have that's less than 400 dudes, and a lot of them are not alive.
Right.
There's a lot of them that aren't alive. So what? I don't even know what the percentage. Let's say it was half.
Just say half.
150.
Or
that's 150 more votes to players who understand the exclusivity even more than the doggone than you and I would. Even though I played, I'm not a Hall of Famer. Those guys beat to a different drum. I think Chipper Jones has a pretty good idea who can hit a fastball and who can't. He should be voting.
Right.
He absolutely should be. They're not going to put a hack in there because he was his buddy. Matter of fact, those guys are probably tougher on players than the people who didn't play. I'm tougher on my kid when I was evaluated than I am and tougher on me and on my kid than I would be on anybody else, even if it's just a little because of your expectations. So if you really want to make it the Hall of Fame, start including voters that are in. Warren Moon knows what a quarterback and what a defensive back looks like and how to vote.
They'll protect it more than writers. I still don't understand the writers thing.
When did you wake up? Did you pine for a vote? Okay, I want to know this, Siggs. Why aren't I voting for the Heisman Trophy?
Right.
Played, got SC, was in the media for 30 years. Why aren't I voting for the MVP of the league? I'm not saying I should be. There's only 50 of them, but am I qualified? Do I know what football is? Do I know how to study tape? Did I watch guys kick my ass? I'm not saying I should get one. I'm not pining for one. I don't have one. I get it. But what all this? Who died and left? Oh, let's just vote for that guy. I mean, what is that criteria to pick them? They pined. They knew somebody said, "Yeah, let's get you a vote." What is it? So for me, I don't know who's more qualified to vote for rush-ins getting in the Hall of Fame or defense than Joe Montana or Anthony Munoz. I mean, are you serious? Or LaDainian Tomlinson? We know that. We study them every week on tape when you're playing against them. And another thing is learning how to watch it. Oh, they're out of the league. They don't study tape anymore. They know how to. If they're looking at if a guy belongs in the Hall of Fame, they can look at the numbers, match them up against what they want. They'll have all the information they ever need. The Hall of Fame will provide them. So for me, Siggs, we got to take just as serious as getting guys out as we do giving them a vote. And we also, I don't understand. I would think that Desmond Howard knows what a Heisman Trophy winner looks like because he earned his. He gets a vote for that. Just like I would think that Big Jonathan Ogden has a pretty good idea what to look for, not only in tackles and offensive linemen, but what he looks for in a guy who's rushing and kicking his ass, which didn't happen very often, in a game, and do it for 15 years. So I think we get most of it right, but this is a bad look for the Hall of Fame that the greatest coach arguably, and like I said yesterday, if he's not first, he's not third in history. Even guys who didn't like him that coached against him think he's a first ballot Hall of Fame. It's an embarrassment. It just is.
Yeah. I mean, it's a joke. And we're going to talk about a coach that we mentioned yesterday that kind of went off. Well, we got a video of him talking about it. We'll get to that in just a little bit, along with another Hall of Fame topic. But we got to move on. Somebody who should not have a vote. Somebody who should not be talking at this point, because was it last week, I believe, he said Ryan Clark should get he said deserved a head coaching interview with the Pittsburgh Steelers just because he was a player there. Now, Manuelacho comes out and says Shedeur should not listen to Todd Monken because what has he done in the NFL? But before you react, Sean, let's play the video so if people haven't seen it, they can see it. They can react in the comments. You can react on X. Send us what you think. But Sean, just listen to it, and then you just come right out and just go, because I know you're going to have a lot of passion behind this. So, Bailey, go ahead and roll this clip.
Any expectation for Shedeur Sanders under Todd Monken, I believe, will lead to disappointment. There is nothing about Todd Monken as a head coach that should get you excited. As an offensive coordinator, you could say Lamar Jackson had an MVP season under Todd Monken. As an offensive coordinator, Lamar Jackson had 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions under Todd Monken. As an offensive coordinator, you can make arguments under Todd Monken. Stetson Bennett won 2 national championships at Georgia under Todd Monken. But as a head coach, no. Nothing about Todd Monken as a head man gets me excited. I need to see who the offensive coordinator is going to be. That's what I need to see. But what I don't yet see, T, is like, how is Todd Monken going to command that locker room, command that group of men? And also, if I'm Shedeur or anybody in that locker room, why am I listening to Todd Monken? What have you won on an NFL level as a head coach? You're not even a head coach on an NFL level. So I don't even have expectations for Shedeur under Todd Monken, because I believe any expectations I would have, he would not meet. Because why am I excited about it, T? Why?
Well, number one, the reason why Shedeur Sanders, who won't be the starter more than likely going in, I don't know why we've crowned him the spokesperson for the Cleveland Browns, but He showed some signs of being better. He's not going to start. Monken's going to play the guy who gives him the best chance to win. And right now, it isn't Shedeur Sanders. There's another guy on the roster when healthy that does, whether you like his ass or not. He wears number 4 and has a lot of money. Okay. First of all, he spent all that time telling us, and in his answer, he gave us the answer. Yeah. He went through telling us all. He gave us all the winning and all the great things that a coordinator does to get a head coaching job. He's won national titles. He's taken a walk-on and made him an MVP in 2 national title games. He took the NFL really good player and MVP and kept him as the MVP and improved his game. And now he's got an interview and he got the job. So he went and don't listen to him. First off, and listen, Acho knows football. He gets up there and does. He knows X's and O's. And at times I laugh and get a kick out of. He's got good opinion. This one ain't it for him. He's better than this, because first of all, who would give that sage advice that says, hey, you're a player, don't fucking listen to your head coach? Well, number one is insubordination. Number 2 is he is my head coach and he's my boss. So I would suggest, first off, you do listen to him if you want to play, because you're already not a fixture in the NFL if you're Shedeur Sanders. Now, if you want to talk about Myles Garrett and him and not getting Jim Schwartz the job, all that, we'll have that conversation in a second. The coach that got hired is more qualified than the player he's telling not to listen. That's number 1. 2 is I'd love to go back and find out in Acho's history of good broadcasting. He's a smart guy and good. This wasn't his best moment. And I know it's to get clicks and get everyone, woo, we're talking about it, right? I don't even think he believes it, but when to tell him not to do this and then to roll through it, I'm just curious. Exactly what along the line, has he ever endorsed a coach, said, I want that guy to get an interview or head coaching job, that wasn't a first-time head coach? Because, well, what does he have that doesn't excite you? Well, he's not. What's he going to tell me? Well, in order to be a head coach, you got to get hired. And he's done everything the steps along the way to give himself an opportunity to get interviewed like any other guy that's never been a head coach. So are you going to tell me, I want to know, what did he say about Joe Brady? What did Joe Brady do to warrant the head coach? Well, he dominated with Joe Burrow. He's dominated with Josh Allen. He's earned the right to have this possibility. Same thing with Monken, who's been in it longer than Joe Brady has. My point is that he named all the qualifications, and he told the guy with minimal qualifications not to listen to the guy who's his new head coach with all the qualifications, to be interviewed, and they hired him. So I would suggest Shedeur or whoever else is on Cleveland, and to Emmanuel Acho, I would suggest, you're smart, you know a lot about football, let me help you fix this comment. Every single person that walks in that building should put respect on Monken's name until he earns that he's not a head coach. We don't know what kind of head coach he's going to be. But I can tell you this, he did everything as a coordinator to put himself in position to be a head coach. And then he says, well, I wouldn't give him any credit. You know what? I want to know who he's going to hire as his coordinator. He's the head coach too. I think he knows offense. Okay. Segs, I don't know who would give the advice as a former player. If you don't like Monken, great. Tell us the reasons why you think he's not qualified. But don't tell your player that the guy's, hey, I wouldn't even listen to. If Emmanuel Acho was a Cleveland Brown right now and Monken walked in the room, he'd be shaking his hand and doing every single damn thing Todd Monken told him to do without fail. Because he knows what you're supposed to do. Acho's a smart guy, and he's smart with X's and O's. This wasn't a smart comment. It's a hot take through the roof. He knows it, and so do we. And the fact that he said, well, Shedeur, I wouldn't listen. If I was Shedeur Sanders, I'd listen to anybody who can help make me a better player. And guess what? That's Todd Monken. We'll see if his potential can get there. But to suggest this, it's just dumb shit, hot take stuff that it's diarrhea of the mouth on this comment. And I like him. I think he's good at what he does. But sometimes you overload your mouth with your ass, and this is one of them. And if you're Todd Monken and you saw this clip, you probably got to be laughing like, come on, dude. Enough. He's qualified just like any other coach. How many coaches Segs get job? How many coaches in this side did Liam Cohen? What did he do during their job? I'm going by Acho's protocol.
Ben Johnson. No. Why did Caleb Williams listen to him?
Why would you listen to him?
Yeah,
dude, he never would. Why am I not excited? Now, if you want to tell me that I'm not excited about Monken because he doesn't bring in, it's not a Mike McCarthy, it's not a sexy,
it's not,
have at it, your opinion.
Fine.
But am I supposed to tell, why should he not tell, go ahead and tell, I mean, we've got a Super Ring, but should anybody in Pittsburgh listen to McCarthy since they failed, and I use that in air quotes, in Dallas?
Right. Should
you not listen? Why in the world would you even listen to Joe Brady, say? According to Acho, he's not been ahead. What's sexy about him? All he's been is a successful offensive coordinator. See what I'm saying? You answer the question by giving us all his qualifications that I'm not excited. You don't have to be excited, but the fact that you're telling him not to listen to your boss and a guy who's won and made players better, he took a walk-on and turned him into a national champion twice as a coordinator. And Stetson Bennett will never play better football than he played with Todd Monken. And quite frankly, Lamar's played good football. I don't know if Lamar can play better football because he now there's probably another, but he played damn good football with Monken. So to me, you don't have to like the head coaching hire, but to suggest you wouldn't listen, your ass would be listening every single second Todd Monken talked if you were in the building. This is just a dumb take.
I mean, this is kind of what Acho is becoming known for, is these stupid,
which is sad because he's better than this.
Yes, and like you said, I love when he, I watch his videos when he's breaking down plays or, what he sees, why this guy maybe thought this, or I love that stuff. When we see it from Orlovsky, Chase Daniel, Acho, he's really good at that. Then when he gets on this speakeasy show that he's the host of, he becomes a complete moron. And I think it was Big Cat from Barstool who had the perfect tweet. I'm just going to start reading or taking everything Emmanuel Acho says as satire. And then he becomes really funny. And then it becomes,
it's a funny fake account.
Yeah, right.
So he's an SNL skit waiting to happen.
But you said, Sean, you said in there, what would Emmanuel, or I want to know what Emmanuel Acho would have said about Joe Brady. Well, he tweeted about it. This is, he tweeted right after Adam Schefter said,
so we got some receipts.
The Bills are working to finalize a deal to make Joe Brady their head coach. Here's Acho's tweet. I love this hire. Joe Brady has been that dude since he was the OC for LSU's national championship team. He took over for Ken Dorsey, and Josh Allen got better. Go hire a killer DC and try to take the division back.
Now, how stupid. Now, this was good. So you just validated what I said. Find me a guy who's not been a head coach, who was fired in Carolina. I love Joe Brady. I think it's a great hire. So let me just do the comparison. Well, Brady should have got an opportunity, and he did, and I love it for Joe. Monken, 2 national championships, and 2 MVP awards in those, Stetson Bennett as a coordinator. Joe Brady, national championship with Joe Burrow on what may have been the greatest season ever, national championship. So there, go through your pathway, get to Buffalo. Josh Allen, an MVP, still not a Super Bowl. Josh Allen got better. Stetson Bennett got better. And then you go to Lamar Jackson. For those two, Allen and Jackson, not to be confused with Alan Jackson, the singer, is they've been battling for MVP, and Lamar's got a couple of them and won an MVP under Todd Monken. So basically what you're saying is he likes Joe Brady more than he likes Monken. Great. Tell us that. But then to say, why would I respect him? Okay. So tell me what the difference is other than you overloaded your mouth with your ass and this comment alone, it's just hot take full of shit stuff for a guy who knows football. To me, so thank you for finding that, Bailey, and Segs, thank you, because it's ultimate in contradiction. It's speaking one thing out of the other mouth and then shit comes out of the other side because you're like, well, I can double. Then it's if nobody's going to know. So two assistants that earn the right to be interviewed and to get jobs both did. One's not qualified, but one is. No, they're both qualified. You just don't like the hire. If he would have said that, I'd said, I get it. It's not a sexy hire, but it's a smart one. And if it's Shedeur Sanders or Deshaun Watson, they'll play better football. They just will.
And the other thing that you hit on, but the other part of this is and the only reason Emmanuel Acho is talking about this is because of Shedeur Sanders, because he knows he's trying to be one of these. Yes, and he's trying to be one of these guys that stand up for Shedeur in the media and try and get close to Deion Sanders, just like Josina Anderson and a few others in the media.
You could call it what you want to call pandering ass kissing is what it's called.
There you go. Yes. So,
okay, Seg, let me say something about
just stupid.
We're not running Stephen A. Smith's comments, right?
No.
You just talked about it, right?
Yeah.
Let me just say one thing about that. You know I like Stephen A. because I know he works hard. I get all that. And that you hit it perfect. And I want to say it one more time. The fact that he got on there and say that Ryan RC deserves the interview. I don't know if Phillip Rivers deserved the interview. He got an interview because Buffalo thought he deserved it. And I'd have been okay if Pittsburgh Steelers call up Ryan Clark. Not going to hire him, but call him up and say, interview. Great. But for Stephen A to sit there as if, talk about pandering. Now, I'm not saying whether Ryan Clark football-wise is qualified. I think he's got a lot of stuff he'd have to work out in his own mind to be a head coach of a bunch of grown-ass men. But to stand up there and do it. So listen, a lot of us will say, well, Phillip, right, the timing of it, Buffalo, but he pulled himself out. He wasn't going to get the job as the head coach. So for whatever reason, I'm not saying Ryan Clark shouldn't have got an interview. If you like Pittsburgh, it's like saying, well, Sean, Minnesota's calling. No, Minnesota's not calling me up for an interview. If they did, great. I'd probably say, well, I'm not qualified to be your head coach right now. You want me as an assistant? I could do that. But I don't care if Stephen A. said, I would have loved Ryan to get an interview. Great. I'm sure Ryan Clark thinks he should have had an interview. But the deserved part, the only thing you deserve is when the person who thinks you deserve it that's hiring you interviews you. I deserve a shot to be doing Monday Night Football. Maybe not. And
but
I don't deserve. That's exactly right. Do I qualify? Yeah, I'm not getting it. I don't deserve it because other guys are in it. They're around it right now. They've done the right things with executives, and they're right there, and they've worked it up. And Kirk Herbstreit deserves to be calling the games because he's earned it, and they think he's earned it, and so do I. But for Stephen A. Smith, if Ryan Clark was on another network, Stephen A. Smith would have never said this. It's a teammate, and I love the fact that he loves his teammate, but deserved, and the team decides. The Pittsburgh Steelers did not make a mistake by not interviewing Ryan Clark. And the Buffalo Bills, had they not interviewed Phillip Rivers, it wouldn't have been a mistake either. I didn't see anybody pining for Phillip Rivers to get that interview. We talked about it on here. I said, if you get what's to hurt? And what would be to hurt to interview Ryan Clark? The thing is, Stephen A. deciding he deserved an interview. Why? Because he can talk it on TV. So can you, Segs. Why didn't you get an interview in Chicago before Ben Johnson? So, well, you didn't play. Well, you want me to go through the list of head coaches in the NFL who didn't play a lick of football on Sundays? There's a lot of them. So, to me, the difference between deserved and we're fortunate enough to get one and blessed enough to get one is one thing. But, and this isn't Ryan Clark's fault. This is Stephen A. Smith, reaching. Stephen A. Smith. It's like Stephen A. thinking he can go score 4 points in an NBA game. He wouldn't score 4 points the whole season unless they let him shoot a layup. It's not saying he didn't have a good game, but it's not good enough to play there. So, Stephen A. It's like Stephen A. deserves an opportunity to be the representative for the president of the United States. No, if he earns it, everybody votes for him, then he deserves it. Or if they call him up in the Democratic convention or the Republicans say, we want you to represent, we want you to run for president. We're going to put all this money behind you. And until that happens, you don't deserve shit. You're not entitled to any of it. The things that go on in media, dude, if I didn't love doing this with you and love like watching tape and watching sports and loving the passion about it, just the mere hot take shit I would be done. I would find something else to do. but I love it enough to hope that we can rescue some of them from themselves with their hot take clownish stuff. They're better than that. The two guys we're talking about are far better than that. Yet I think maybe the squeaky wheel when it comes to hot take, overload your mouth with your ass bullshit is exactly what you got to do to be that guy. And I'm not willing to do it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. All you have to do is show the Joe Brady tweet and his comments about Todd Monken side by side, and that'll answer the credibility on that specific topic.
Yeah. It's something that, over the last 15, 20 years of podcasting becoming a thing, X or Twitter when it started, giving everybody a voice, giving everybody a chance. It's a really good thing, but it's also a really fucking
when
bad
it's overused the wrong way, it's an
Yes.
awful thing.
It's really
and we're
bad.
all guilty of it at times.
Yes.
Every one
Yes.
of us is, no doubt.
Yes, for sure. Real quick, going back to the Browns, Jim Schwartz, we talked about it briefly yesterday. He's pissed that he didn't get the job. He wants out, but Sean, he's under contract for another year. He's trying to find a void in that contract. He wants out of Cleveland. He does not want to stay and be Todd Monken's defensive coordinator. What do you think about this situation with Jim Schwartz, and should he stay and be the DC? Should the Browns force him, who, under contract? It's either you sit out a year of football or someone comes and trades for you. What do you think of this situation with Jim Schwartz as a defensive coordinator?
Well, if you sit out a year of football, you ain't getting paid. Just like a player. You want to sit out, you're not getting that salary.
Yeah.
And I don't care how much he's made. Jim's got to be making a couple mil because he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. So. Say 1.5, 2.5, 3, whatever it is. That's a lot of money. I don't know many people that want to sit out and give that up. I understand why Jim Schwartz is pissed. I understand why the players want Jim Schwartz. I think he's a hell of a football coach and a fiery guy. I love, and I understand why he'd think that should be his job. I get it, 100%. But he doesn't have much leeway there, because if they want you to coach, which is a compliment to him, albeit backhanded because he didn't get the head coaching job, that he is under contract for a lot of money and he's great at his job, and the Cleveland Browns are one of the best defenses in the league because of players, but he gets defense. Now, you got to get to a point, Sigs. You got to ask yourself, okay, I'm pissed. I want the world to know I'm not getting hired as a head coach. I'm under contract right now. If they were to let him out, you'd hire him as a defensive coordinator in 5 minutes. Somebody else, I would. I'd interview him. But by the time he said I'm out, he gets down the stairs. His phone has a text from me saying, can we talk if I'm a GM or an owner in another city? And he's the type of guy you'd get rid of your defensive coordinator if you were suspect to hire Jim Schwartz. He just is. But sometimes the timing's a bummer. And Cleveland, I know they're dysfunctional in the front office. Well, whoever the powers that be thought they needed an offensive mind who, I guess, crushed his interview in Todd Monken and left it hanging. And they probably felt like, well, we got him under contract, not a damn thing he can do. So I don't know what loophole you're going to find that says, you know what, you guys did me wrong. They interviewed you. You don't have two legs to stand on unless they lied to you, and you can prove that. But if I'm Jim Schwartz, I coach it up, kick ass again. And if they say, well, you know what, we'd like to keep you around, we'll pay you $5 million a year as a defensive coordinator. Then he can up and give him the middle finger and move on if he wants. Yeah. I don't think the wisest move would to be out of football. Let him know you're pissed. You don't have to buddy up with anybody. Your production has proven that you belong. And you got guys that will. The thing about it is if he stays, I know they were talking about, well, this defense is going to tank. No, they're not. You know what they're going to do? They're even going to rise above it because they want their guy to have the opportunity to be that guy. So I get his if he wasn't pissed, I'd wonder where his competitive juices were. I'm glad he is. Just as long as when you start practice, it's not a distraction. You can work well with the head coach. It's not Todd Monken's fault. Monken got the interview. What's he supposed to do? It's not. If you're mad, be mad at the dudes upstairs who have made fuck ups for years as the Cleveland Browns organization. I agree with Jim being pissed. I don't agree with him holding out of football. One, it's too much money. Two, you're coaching one of the best players in the world ever. And three is, well, you got a chance by doing it again to assure yourself you're more than likely going to get the interviews you want, and it may not be in Cleveland. Hold the grudge all you want. Stay in and coaching. You don't want to give that up and sit out. I don't think he's going to find a loophole. Maybe Cleveland will just decide if he's loud enough that we'll just fire him. Yeah. Maybe that'll be the case. Maybe that's what he's, some guys do enough so they can get out of a building with this player empowerment. Maybe Jim will do enough screaming and yelling and letting him know he's pissed that it would be dysfunctional to keep him around and be too much of this. get him out. And maybe that's what he's hoping for. But I can tell you this, there will be a line for Jim Schwartz if he's not in Cleveland, and Cleveland should do everything they can. Monken should take him out to dinner and beg him to stay. This guy can coach.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that last statement for sure. Before we get back to some Hall of Fame talk surrounding the Pro Football Hall of Fame, tell me about Spindle Tap.
Well, Segs, you know about it. You were here with me with it, and you've also seen me talk about it. I mean, you can see behind me over here, back there, the diamonds. They got the IPAs. They've got new brew just came out. They got their seasonal beers, their Mexican beer, their lagers, phenomenal IPAs, double IPAs. Listen, the beer goes without question. That's the obvious part of this. Great beer, and anybody who's had it cannot deny it. It's a great, on 3 acres, Spindle Tap beer, brewery right here in Houston. They make great coffee too. It's as good a coffee as I've had. Spindle Tap coffee. Hop on in there and grab. And they have the bags there. You go and get it, grab a beer. The next morning, you're going to need some good coffee that's strong, the way I like it. Well, you know how I like my coffee, Segs.
Yeah.
Black and bitter. Okay, that's how I like my coffee.
Yeah.
And you can get it bitter, meaning that biting taste. Well, back to the brewery. The obvious is the taste is good, and they're constantly with the brewmaster bringing out what you like. The other side of it is the facility and the brewery itself. Great food, great opportunity to play wiffle ball, pickleball, cornhole. I used to call it bags, but cornhole. They built a new big building. You call it bags still, Six? Yeah. Cornhole just sounds wrong to me, but anyway. And then they built the facility aside from the tap room where you got a place to host parties, to watch games, to have your little league championship team come and go out there and have some fun, all the things you want. And now Spindle Tap is in the airport, which is a phenomenal thing. So anybody who's been through the airport and you're looking for a great beer, stop on into Spindle Tap and then come back and report back. And if you want that good beer and you're out of state, you know where to get it in this state and in this city. But if you're in Dallas, you're in Tennessee, you're in California, right to your door, spindletap.com. And Brody Chapman is the owner, the boss. He loves sports. He's a Texas Tech guy. Matter of fact, they even made an NIL beer for Texas Tech. That's how into it they are, and they get them out, and they're quality. But the facility and the customer service is everything you want in a brewery without being overwhelming to you. But you can have a blast, spend all day there, watch games, and by the time you get home at night, you'll need another beer because you're going to have so much fun. Love the place. So grateful for my not only relationship and partnership with Spindle Tap, but now you go through the airport, head over to Hobby and walk through there, and Spindle Tap's here too. They're doing it right. It's the best brewery in Texas, and it is the best beer you're going to taste. And if you're in Houston, matter of fact, holler at me, and we'll go over there and have one together. And when you go back home, you'll say, Sean wasn't lying. It's Spindle Tap, spindletap.com, spindletap.com. Everything you want right there, spindletap.com. Place your order, and it'll get to your doorstep. I love it.
Oh, let me push my mute button again. All right, getting back to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Now look at this. Let me just. I know he's kidding. I simply said I like my coffee black and bitter. Is there black and with sugar, black and bitter for me? That's how I've drank my coffee forever. And the guy said, "What the fuck do you mean? You like your coffee black and bitter? Racist MF." I'm not quite sure. Can you be racist towards coffee? So what if I had said I like my coffee? So. I like my coffee with sugar,
cream and sugar.
Yeah, cream and sugar. Is it racist? Well, every now and again you'll get somebody coming here looking for it. But Jake, you're probably going to have to get over this because I'll say it again. I like my coffee black and bitter. I don't like it like a milkshake. So if it's bothersome to you, you're going to just have to get over it, my man. I love you, but I just had it this morning. It was black with a hint of bitter in it for me with no sugar. And it wasn't a McDonald's milkshake. So if that's racist to you, I would imagine you got to go look in the mirror and you got a problem with yourself. I'll say it louder. I like my coffee black and bitter, period. Not as a milkshake. And if that's a problem with you, then I would imagine coffee can be racist. Oh, well, if that's the problem. So I'm sure you'll be okay. You'll get over it. Because anybody that knows me would say, yeah, that's who Sean is.
If I like the milkshake type, if I like the caramel, does that make me not racist? So if I say that,
no, it makes you racist because you don't like black coffee.
Oh,
So
okay.
You
So
double dip. You
I
see what I'm
see.
saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
why don't you like your coffee black, Segs? See, you would have had a better chance of me saying I don't like my coffee black. Well, Sean, are you racist? No, I like mine black and bitter. What's the big deal? I got some bitterness to me at times too. Apparently, he does too. I think
People are
you're going to be okay. I
Yeah.
think, as a matter of fact, I'll buy you one and we can be racist together over what coffee we drink.
Right.
Gee, man, welcome to 2026. Welcome. Well, we
Yes.
had it in 25, but that'll be. I hopefully he's joking. If he's not, he's just going to have to get over it because I'm not changing how I like my coffee. And if that bothers you, this ain't the place for you, pal.
Right. All right, back to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Another person not getting in. This time it's a player. For the second straight year, Eli Manning will not make the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Two-time Super Bowl champion, two-time Super Bowl MVP. I was just looking at this list of quarterbacks who have multiple Super Bowl MVPs. Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, Bart Starr were all first ballot Hall of Famers. The other two players that haven't been inducted or even put up yet because one's still playing, one just retired, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. They'll most likely be first ballot
third one,
Hall of Famers.
A third one, Aaron Rodgers, MVPs, 4 of them.
Right, but he doesn't have 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
Oh, Super Bowls. Yeah, he's only got the 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Great point. Yep.
So out of those, 5 guys, they'll all be first ballot Hall of Famers. Then you have Eli Manning sitting back, having to wait more than 2 years. And I understand why, because the outside numbers, and Bradshaw was different. I mean, the game was different back in Bradshaw's era and Bart Starr's era. It wasn't so much a passing league. The numbers didn't matter as much. You had all those Super Bowls. You won them all. Eli threw a lot of interceptions, put it that way. I mean, a lot more than some of these guys that are getting in to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I don't know if I agree with him having to wait for a third year. I didn't think he should be first ballot, but I understand if you have a problem him not being a second ballot. So, I mean,
and I
think he eventually gets in, but there's definitely some talk of why he should be in the Hall of Fame. 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 Super Bowl rings.
No doubt.
But then you look at the numbers with the interceptions and everything he did there, then you kind of say, well, is he an MVP or a Hall of Famer? So then I think you come in the middle. I'm fine either way.
Yeah. Here's how I feel about the Segs. One is, I've known the Manning family forever and I love them. Yeah. So I'm putting my affinity for Peyton and Eli aside and Archie and the group. I love the family. Always have. They've done nothing but treat me great, and I love them. And I think they're damn good on and off the field. Funny as hell. Yeah. And Eli's as funny as it gets. And I love Cooper. He's funnier than everybody put together. Okay, but I can tell you this, just to be fair, I'm okay with this. Now, if you put up just as the other side, what's his overall record and touchdowns to interception ratio, if that was on this list? If we can find that, or you can tell me. I know it. Okay, and then the one thing that's not on this list that he should get a lot more credit for on the side of being in is his durability. The dude is durable, and he played fantastic in big games, always. Eli Manning unequivocally is a Hall of Famer, period. Now, the opposite of this is I do get why you'd wait a little bit. He's going to get in. I don't think it's going to be 8 or 10 years, but I can go down the list. I remember how long Art Monk had to wait, right? We can go down the list on certain guys.
Yep.
Listen, and there's a part of me, Segs, we always talk about, well, he's a Manning, he's getting in. And he is, but he ain't getting in. Listen, if Archie would have played on some good teams, Archie would have been in. He was as talented as anybody in the family, right? But he got drafted. He was a great player, got drafted by a bad team and got his ass kicked and still played good football. Eli was a big reason why this team won Super Bowls, and he played huge in big games. Love him. He's going to get in. But I do understand that it may take a third or fourth year for him to get in because of the opposite. He impacted the Giants, but there's picks. Durability, he doesn't get enough credit for, and he and his brother were both extremely durable. And the record and touchdowns interception ratio, when you compare it, there'll be some who say, you know what, I can understand why they're waiting with numbers. And I almost think that being a Manning has Segs, hear what I'm saying here. We normally say, oh, he got the advantage of being a man. It's just automatic. I don't think that. I don't think Eli thinks that that's what should be the case. here's what I think. I almost think that people, because he's a Manning and his brother and the family, that they say, then because there are certain parts of the numbers that say, maybe has to wait another year, because other guys at other positions who should be in, Zach Thomas had to wait a long time. Zach Thomas was should have been voted in sooner. But we can say that about a lot of guys. Eli just happens to be the quarterback of record that isn't in yet, that is going to get in. But I get why they'd say he can wait another year. Not personal, but almost. But I also think that some may say, man, are people going to get on us because we voted Eli? Because just as many people that don't think he should be in, there are plenty that I've talked to, Segs, that are players, fans, that don't think he should be in. And I think he is a Hall of Famer. He's proved it in the biggest games. Walter Payton guy, he's been through his yards. Now, we can't judge statistics for Terry Bradshaw and Joe Namath like we do for Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. The game has changed. So you got to put it into the time you played and who you played against and how many games in the schedule, 14 games compared to 16 or 17 games, all those things. Statistics, he belongs in. Winner belongs in. Character, if your vote belongs in, if character is part of if that was part of the criteria. If it's not, just on the field, he belongs in. But I do understand why some say, well, wait a second now. Here's all the great stuff, and here's the stuff that may not have me vote for him just yet. And I also get the point, if you're a Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer. We can't vote 27 guys in a year. Less than 400 are in. He will be in. But I do understand, I would have voted him in. I do understand those that didn't because of some of the statistics that bother them. So wins and interceptions to touchdowns, what is it, Segs?
His record is 117 and 117. So he's 500. Oh. But like you said, he had from his second season, he had 12 straight seasons of playing 16 games. Then he missed one game, the
incredibly durable
season, and then he came back and played 16 games. So only his rookie season where he didn't start right away, and then his last season where he was a shell of himself. He was banged up and couldn't move anymore, are the only seasons where he did not play 15 or more games. So, that shows you how durable he was.
My two most important stats for him that impressed me the most is one, playing so good in the biggest moments of his career to get those Super Bowl wins.
Yeah.
And the durability. Pro Bowler, he's a great guy, Walter Payton, Man of the Year, all that. Understand. And all the passing yards and all that TDs. But people are going to, because what do we tell, what is a statistic that I don't think is fair to just the quarterback, but we live by? Wins and losses. It's a quarterback statistic. When's the last time, pick your favorite player from Chicago, Mike Singletary.
Yeah.
Have we ever had, when they go Mike Singletary, give all the statistics and say, and he won this many games? We never put win-loss record on anybody in the Hall of Fame but the quarterback. It's always just, and the head coach. The quarterback and the head coach. Nobody else. You don't mention Jonathan Ogden's win-loss record when he played. You don't mention about Lawrence Taylor, about Chris Carter, about Gary Zimmerman, about Randall McDaniel. You just don't. It's quarterback. So if you're going by, if they've made it a quarterback stat and it's 117 and 117, you understand why a voter or two will say, well, he was one. No, he wasn't 117, 117. His team was. There was 10 other cats and 11 on one side and 10 more on his side of the ball. So I do get it because of that. He threw a bunch of interceptions, but also threw a bunch of touchdowns. But Super Bowl MVP, the numbers, and his durability is off the charts, and he doesn't get near enough. We talk about Favre and Peyton Manning, and rightfully so. Bruce Matthews, my former teammate, all the durability. This dude at that position was as durable as you will find. So he belongs in. I would have voted him, but I understand why they're going to make him wait third time or fourth time, because guys at other positions have gone through this, and it's that 500 statistic that bothers people, I think. But he does belong in. I'm a big fan, and I'll be happy for him when he does get in.
And the 244 interceptions in his career, I think, also bugs some people, because what's the one thing that we talk about with Brett Favre? I mean, everything was great, everything, but he threw like 300, almost 400 interceptions.
Reggie Jackson, Babe Ruth, baseball comparison. Hit the ball over the fence a bunch of times, but strike out and lead the world in strikeouts. It's okay. But what did Reggie Jackson have that Eli Manning has? Took shots, struck out, threw interceptions, but what did they both do in the biggest moments? Clutch is a mofo, brother.
Yep.
Eli Manning belongs in, but I do get why they're making him wait. or they didn't think so. Why some? It won't be long for Eli Manning. He ain't going to have to wait 3 or 4 more years. He'll get in.
Yeah.
And he should.
One last thing on the Bill Belichick not making the Pro Bowl. We talked, and I read Jimmy Johnson's tweet yesterday, but then he went on, and we have a video now of him talking about it, and it's perfectly said. Bailey, go ahead and run the Jimmy Johnson.
So with what you said last night on your Twitter account, where you said if they're going to be using Spygate as an excuse for this entire thing, they're going to have to dig into basically everybody's stuff who is potentially trying this. Could you elaborate a little bit more on how common this type of thing is, and why did it make you so upset that they left Bill Belichick off the first ballot Hall of Fame?
Well, first of all, I think this tarnishes everything in the Hall of Fame. All of the inductees, everybody in the Hall of Fame, just because of 10 or 11 or 12 ignorant, jealous assholes who did not vote for him. I think it tarnishes everything about the Hall of Fame.
How do you not love him?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he have a vote?
I don't know.
You think he's seen a good football? He's also a great talent evaluator. I know, because we got 11 players we gave up to get one, and Herschel was good. But Jimmy built Super Bowl champions by getting the right talent, making the right deal. So I'm just telling you that Jimmy Johnson is spot on. I like the assholes. Jimmy, I can say whatever the hell I want. I'm gonna be on my fishing boat in a few hours anyway. I friggin' love it. He's spot on. It's ego, grudge, and personal. Because there's nothing. Even if you hated him, it was grudge. He married your ex-wife. I'm not talking about you, Segs, either.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm bitter at it. My kids are going to his house. The grandkids go for Christmas with him. Oh, but did you see the performance on the field?
Right.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. And it's Jimmy Johnson hit it. It's basically, it actually puts a, that's what we're doing in the Hall of Fame? Yeah. This was, like I said yesterday, if Babe Ruth's a Hall of Famer on the first ballot, so is Bill Belichick. If Brady is, so is Bill Belichick. If Don Shula is, so is Bill Belichick. So let's just stop the nonsense in these voters. And if they can't get it right, legitimately right, not grudge right, replace them and find somebody else to replace them. And real quick for this, old man 016, Romo was better than Eli. Romo put up some good numbers. There's a big difference, though, in it. One was more durable, even though Romo had some durability, got banged up, and Romo was a hell of a player. That's one of those guys that's really good, but they didn't win any Super Bowls. And Eli's got the numbers, the Super Bowls, the durability, all those things. And Tony was a hell of a player, but he's not going to get in the Hall of Fame. And he put up wonderful numbers. It's just he's one of those guys that it's not the Hall of really good, it's the Hall of Fame, and Eli will get in. But Jimmy is a truth teller, and if you don't need to hear any other clip at any other show than Jimmy to say that, and you could see McAfee and AJ Hawk's reaction, they were pumped because Jimmy doesn't really care what we think, nor should he.
We should have him on the show to talk about Super Bowl and some stuff. He'd be a great guest for that. We'll see. I can make that happen. Bet of the day, real quick. There's not a whole lot going on right now with football over. College basketball doesn't have much, but let's pick the Washington-Illinois game. And I bring up Illinois because they're one of 4 top 10 Big Ten teams in the country right now, and they are really, really damn good. They face Washington in Champaign, Illinois tonight. That Illinois minus 12.5, total 152.5. I'd probably say take Illinois, lay the points, because that's how good they've been playing recently. And I think they'll take care of business with Washington, who's having a down year, and they're kind of banged up as well.
I would, if I was doing both, I'd probably go. I know I'd take Illinois and lay the points, but I'd also probably take the over in the game. I think Illinois will get up and down the court. I do, but I'm more. I know it's when you go 12.5 points, we're into conference play. Illinois is really friggin' good.
Yeah.
Give me them, Segs, and I will lay the points. And I think when we come back tomorrow, we will be able to discuss that it was 100% spot on.
Yeah. All right, real quick.
Hey, can I say one more thing, Segs?
Yeah.
It's been on my mind. I just want to send a message to LeBron. When he said back then, the 80s and 90s, the basketball they played then is different. 80 games back then is different than 80 games now, meaning that theirs was easier. I just want to send this message. LeBron's been great, but comparing the two, Today's basketball is 80 games of three-pointers and pillow fight. In the 80s, they played 80 games of fist fight. And I'll just leave it at that. Okay, not saying you couldn't play back then, but he's exactly right. There's the 80 games in and 80 games now. 82 games is different. You want to know why? Because they were tougher.
Yeah,
the rules were tougher on you, and they didn't play spread out, shoot threes, and basically at times we're playing the NBA All-Star game during the regular season, meaning matador defense.
Yeah.
LeBron did it great. He could have played in any era, but stop with he'd have got his brains beaten. LeBron would have, because he's a specimen. But to say that it was easier to play 82 games then than it is now, what are you talking about?
Well,
you could break a hand, break an ankle, and you expected to play.
Dude,
nowadays,
I saw
no
one video
load
of
management.
the guy,
Load management was the off season.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name. He played for the Bucks, and he wore an actual neck brace.
You're talking
during
about
the
Jared,
game.
was it? I can tell you who it was.
I
43 guard.
My tongue.
Was
Yes.
it Gerald? Oh gosh, dang! I remember
Gerald Henderson. Yes,
there,
that's right.
Gerald Henderson.
His
there you
kid
go.
Was played at Duke and in the league for
right.
I believe it was Charlotte for a while. Yes,
wore a neck
Gerald
brace
Henderson.
to play. That wasn't pregame warm. That was in the game. So,
but it's harder to play now.
Correct.
And his point was the pace of play. Yet then, when someone went back and actually dug into the numbers, the amount of possessions now is somewhere around 100, roughly, give or take.
Per team?
Yeah.
Or 50 or 50, 100 possessions up and down the floor.
Yeah, I don't know exactly which way. In the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, it was 102. So, I mean, the pace is no different. It's just the style of play. It's the style of, back then threes weren't looked at like they are now. It's not a analytical sport back then. It was, I'm getting to the basket. I'm getting to the foul line. I'm going to beat your brains in if you try and go to the basket. I'm going to whack you across the face. I'm going to punch you in the face. I'm going to break your rib if you come in. I mean, we saw it all then. Now
they're going to break your rib if you decided to shoot a 2-pointer from 15 feet back then. Okay.
Right.
And here's another thing. You talk about the travel, your jet gets you there faster and you got more room.
Yeah. Well, you have more days off.
I was going to say, you don't do back-to-backers for the most part. They were playing back-to-backers a night and a day, the next day, the next night, doing it again. And guess what? They didn't have the luxury about every third or fourth game where you get to sit and play load management. Just friggin' love LeBron, but this is another case of him trying to panic. Just stop. You're a great player. You don't have to let us talk for you when it comes to stuff like this. The bottom line is the game, the rules were set up for tougher. It's not saying they were better. These athletes are phenomenal. All the more reason why getting up and down the floor, they got nutrition, everybody's got a dietitian, everybody's making more money. You don't get days off. They give plenty of them now. It was much more physical then, much more finesse now. Period.
100.
Sorry, I had to get that in. It's been bothering me.
All right, real quick.
And you had one other thing.
I saw this last night, or maybe it was today. Yeah, it was today. The Olympics, the opening ceremony is like 8 days away. So I guess my question to you is, what's your favorite Winter Olympic event? They're going to be in Milano Cortina this year, Northern Italy. The Olympics are always cool when they come around. I don't sit and watch all the time, but, I'll throw it on every once in a while, and, it's something different. But what's your favorite winter event?
Opening ceremonies? No.
The hockey is always great. Like
that's
Jared
number
said.
one.
Hockey's awesome. Like, especially
it's a no-brainer.
But this year's going to be different because the arena they're supposed to play in is smaller. Right. It's been kind of a joke, a running joke here for months. Right. But yes, hockey, when they get into their country and shit, it's crazy.
Winter Olympic. The fact that the announcers have to know how to on a dime and that even just giving, that's the toughest job at the Winter Olympics is being, and it's so you don't get 8 seconds in between possessions to get the name right. It's phenomenal.
You just have to know.
Hockey is without question for years is my favorite. Now, some side ones. I think the snowboarders are out of their friggin' mind, and a big downhill. I love the downhill, the slalom when you get to see Michaela Schifrin. Kind of yes, I love it. No, there's more Summer Olympic events that I like more. Hockey, and I haven't bought into yet, Segs, the snowshoes, walk, kind of glide. And they do that summer, winter where they pull up and shoot, and then they keep. That's a snow skiing thing, right? That's not. It's just I know they're not doing it in the summer, the snow, but I know they have shooting in the Summer Olympics too. It's just a different kind, I think. But the excitement of, okay, this guy goes to this, and he's trudging in the snow. Where most of us are like, man, my legs would be tired after about 10 minutes of this shit.
Right.
And then to shoot, and then to move on. I respect it because I'm a gun guy, but it's not a thrill a minute for me. But I'm hockey for sure, downhill skiing, and the snowboarders I think are nuts. Other than that, Segs,
we all know.
Well, I'm a big triple Salchow guy on the figure skating.
All know you watch the Winter Olympics to just see the figure skating costume.
I care about all the guys,
can't wait to see
the apparel.
Oh
yeah, yes. No doubt. Nothing better than seeing the tights and
You look forward to hearing Brian Boitano talking.
Oh, there's no doubt. Oh, the triple Salchow. Nothing better than a good triple Salchow. Okay.
Never.
Yeah, they're talented. All these people, God bless them, but I would say hockey for me it's not even close. That's first. And I'm mesmerized by the guts of these downhill skiers and these snowboarders. Because at some point you had to practice this shit.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of bones and ankles and knees that have gone. Much respect. I'll tell you what's second for me. So I love the ski jumping.
Yeah, that's
I do.
All the
you're flying through the air, it's as close as yes, agreed, 100%. So that other than that, Segs, I'd have to go through. I'm a big curling guy too, Segs. Big curling guy.
I'm sure you are.
I don't know how much shape you got to be to do. I'm a big curling guy. Okay, so that'll be taped every single day. All right.
You'll be
hockey,
curling.
and that's it.
We'll get. If you want curling updates, come to Unpaved. We'll get Sean will update us at the end of every show on the curling.
Do you know the rule? Like for instance,
no, I no idea.
No idea. How many points do you get for hitting this? Does it stay in? Yeah. No, man, I can't. It's kind of like when I'm watching highlight and the other ones. I'm like trying to figure out the high where it's like
cricket
or cricket. Yeah.
You're like 4 months into one game.
Yeah.
Like, what is
and you got no glove. You got no glove. It's kind of crazy, man. But give me skiing
the other one
and ski jumping, but most of all hockey. No doubt.
Highlight with the basket. Like what is?
What
is that? What?
No doubt.
Who comes up with this shit?
Yeah, and you know what? I know there's commercials. There's not a lot of fanfare about the Olympics. It's not near the pub we used to give it. I think people kind of with trepidation, and but this for these athletes, they've worked their friggin' life for that one moment. So good luck to all of them and to our U.S. team. I hope they kick ass.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the Olympics as they get closer, but it's Super Bowl. We're almost at Super Bowl week. It's Super Bowl, or it's Pro Bowl week, I guess we should say. So
what a game. What a freaking game that is.
You're going to have to break down the Pro Bowl tomorrow. So
I'll be breaking down the Phoenix Open if you want to listen next week. I'll be breaking the Torrey Pines this week. No.
Breakdown. Like we need who should be doing what, who's the best flag puller.
Well, I know we got the voting right because we got a quarterback in there now. Okay.
Right.
We got a QB from Cleveland in there now, so it's a Pro Bowler. Earned. There you go.
Stuff's become such a joke, and that's what is driving me nuts about sports right now.
We can just cancel the Pro Bowl. Just give them the money for making it.
Yes.
And then cancel the game.
We don't even need Pro Bowler. Like, just become an all-pro, first or second team, and that's it. Like, we don't need more.
Agreed.
Like
17th guy gets a bonus for being in the Pro Bowl. God bless him, man.
Yes.
It's what you can negotiate. Good stuff, though. Appreciate the guy's insight, and I still like my coffee the way I said I like it. So you love it black, always, and always will.
And bitter.
So why not? Hell yeah. Matches the bitterness matches your personality, Sage, right? A little bitterness every now and again. There you go.
Definitely.
I love it.
Bitter. All right. Get over to YouTube, like and subscribe at Unpaved Sean Salisbury. Give you updates on when we go live every single day at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. Thanks to Bailey and Laura behind the scenes making us look and sound great. Again, you can follow us at Sean Unfiltered, at Adam G. Sager, the show at S. Salisbury Show. We'll be back tomorrow, starting to look ahead to the Super Bowl and see what else we got. We got some college football topics we can hit on and just start looking ahead to the big game and, continue to get Sean's thoughts on Bad Bunny and the halftime show that he's looking.
Well, I've got him broken down. So anything you need, I got the insight on Bad Bunny.
All right. Well, we'll start the Bad Bunny breakdown tomorrow along with the Pro Bowl. So
There you go. Can't wait. My two
Locked in.
favorites.
1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.
UNPAVED, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
John Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.